Want to know what your dog is thinking?
Have a challenging dog behavior you need help with?
The Dish on Dogs is your source for all your canine questions.
Improve your relationship with your dog and deepen your understanding of your furry friend. Right here on the Dish on Dogs. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another exciting and illuminating episode of the Dish on Dogs. I'm your host, Mike Gould, sometimes affectionately known as the mayor of Houndstown, USA, the home to the happiest dogs on earth. Our podcast is about dogs. It's the Dish on Dogs. We give our information, perspective, everything to do with dogs. For those of you who don't know what Houndstown is a pet care business, and we have locations all over the United States. Primarily, it's daycare, and we provide a fully interactive environment for dogs of all shapes, sizes, and breeds. The last few episodes, we kind of talked about the business of franchising. Because this week, we're at our franchise headquarters in Ronkonkoma, and we welcomed 4 new franchisees into the system, and we're involved in the training. So we've been interviewing the franchisees and their managers, and to see just how they got here. So most of the franchisees, this is the second chapter, an additional chapter of their lives. This is not something most people do when they get out of college. They usually go out into the workforce, do different things. Many people retire. So they all have a very unique and interesting story. So this episode, I'm really happy to welcome our Hillsdale, New Jersey franchisee, Phillip Michael, and his general manager, Perrin, is joining us tonight. And we want to hear about their story, how they ended up sitting in Houndstown today. So welcome, Phillip.
Thank you.
Welcome, Perrin.
Thank you for having us.
So give us, people listening, as I said, everybody has a little bit of a unique background. And coming to Houndstown, being a franchisee, what was the process for you? Tell us a little about your history.
Well, I build homes in northern Bergen County, all of Bergen County, and I decided that I needed another business because the cost of living in New Jersey is getting outrageous. So I was looking for a place that, when I was looking for a place for my dog to just board or just sit there, it was impossible to find. And every dog place that you go for, it's you gotta pay for medication, you gotta pay for purified water, or you gotta pay for daycare services for playtime. So I wanted to get something or somewhere for him that I know he'll be fine, and I knew that he was gonna have fun, and coming out of it would be awesome. So I was searching like interactive doggy daycares, and Houndstown was the 4th one that came up, or the 2nd one that came up. I looked at different franchises like Canine Pet Resorts and stuff like that, and their philosophy wasn't what I wanted. It was more corporate with them. So I felt like I was part of the family from the first time I stepped in the doors.
Right. So yeah, we talk about that as a very cultural fit. And so for people listening and wondering about franchising and what it is, it's really a unique partnership that we make, right? So we vet franchisees just like you vetted franchises. And then we arrive, we have a discovery day, and you come and you do, it's kind of like online dating, right? You go online and you tell us about you, we tell you about, and the rubber meets the road when we meet. You came to a discovery day. Actually, both you and Perrin came to a discovery day, and we see if we really want to, enter into a 10-year agreement with one another. So it's a serious commitment. And so the uniqueness of this. So you are a contractor, and a very good contractor. And one of the most stressful parts of building or starting a franchise is the construction aspect of it, especially for most of our franchisees. They have no experience in doing this. So they have to find a location, which is frustrating, of course. And then secondly, they have to actually build out the interior of their business. It's not really the responsibility of the franchisor, it's the franchisee. So what advice or what was that experience like for you?
Well, it was a little frustrating in the beginning because we did have a location first, and then something happened with the landlord. He just left us, and well, yeah, I had to call the shots to delete, like, to get out of that deal.
Right.
But the whole point was the search. There's not enough inventory at that time to even get into something.
Right.
So it was a little frustrating, but I was lucky enough that I had you and Jackie and everybody by my side, and at the same time in the background I had Perrin telling me, like, don't worry, it doesn't matter whether it's today or tomorrow, it's still your time will come.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
right?
so that was the most frustrating part, definitely. Looking for the location, trying to find something that fits our brand. And it was once I found something, and dealing with the zoning and all that, I understand it could be also frustrating because half of the time when you go to the zoning department, they don't even know what a doggy daycare is.
Exactly, and that's an interesting point, right? And that's obviously a frustrating point. But you were able to get there, do it, and then Perrin was kind of your support system a little bit. And sometimes that's so important when you have a partnership, that you have one person balances out the other. I haven't seen yet a successful business that didn't have somebody, because as you may know, we're not perfect. I think I am, but I'm really not. So we have to have somebody to counterbalance ourselves and understand. We always talk about in the training here, understand your strengths and weaknesses, and whatever your weaknesses are, find somebody that can compensate for that. So Perrin, jump in on this. So how were you so sure that Phillip was going to find a place? It was just that you're a more patient person, and he's a type A lunatic, which that goes 110 miles an hour.
100% he is. Yeah, I'm a more patient person than Phil, but Phil is good at getting everything done, and he wanted to get it done because he knew that he was very excited to open up the house down and everything. But like anything else, it takes time, and I was trying to tell him it's all right. Things come and go. You got to take it as it goes. And at that time, obviously the landlord backed out on us, and it was, a nice big location. But if the landlord's already backing out before you even got in the door, is this something you really wanted to be with?
Yeah. Right. So we're going to talk about that too, but just what's your role? Like right now, as you see it, we're in training right now. That means you're going to be opening within a month or so, maybe 5-6 weeks. We're right to the finish line as far as the opening. So how do you see each other's roles in the business?
Yeah, so Phil hired me to be the hands-on guy when it opens, since his first job and everything is construction, so he won't really be there often. So he needed someone he trusted to run the day-to-days. And he came to me because he knew I love dogs and also needed a job. So
some two good things. Right? Yeah.
But I'll be frank. At first, I wasn't sure. I said, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on it because it's something new. I never thought about working at a doggy daycare, being a manager at a doggy daycare, nonetheless.
Right.
And then, like I said, I love dogs, so I thought about it more, and I was, why not? Let's give it a shot and see where it goes. Right. And I'm glad I said yes, because this whole journey from when he told me the discovery day, him trying to find a location, then actually finding the location and building up the social media with Corey and Cooper helping us along the way. It was just fun experience throughout.
We got to talk about that the social media. Let's just Phillip, because we had talked about COVID-19. So that's another thing. So everything's great. You're this type A passionate guy. You steamroll through the real estate process. I learned a new phrase yesterday. Last night we were talking, and you're from Jersey, so I understand there's different definitions of different people, technical definitions of different people. So we were talking about architects, we were talking about real estate brokers, and the technical term you use is a bunch of jerk-offs. Right, so that's a strictly Jersey thing. Down south, they wouldn't say that. They say something funny. I forget what they say, you're so sweet, something like that. It's a funny thing, but it means you're a jerk-off. So we got right to the point with that. And you, for a person like you and me, honestly, I have to get things done. And I wake up, if I have to do it myself, I'll do it myself, or at least I'll try. So that was a frustrating part. But you said something when we were talking yesterday about COVID-19 threw a kind of a monkey wrench into a lot of things. So what was that like?
Well, when COVID-19 happened, it really hurt a lot of business, and it came in my benefit because then my location became, open. It was a doggy daycare before, and now I'm going in there. I didn't have to deal with the zonings now, and I didn't have to wait for the building department to open. So that was a good benefit for me. I believe, and I believe it brought up more inventory during that time, because then you see like you don't have to deal with the architect as much as before. Then like when you're opening a new location, you got to deal with the zoning, the architect, the engineers, and you could, all these people, they're all great and stuff, but every municipality.
You're being kind right now. You didn't say that. You didn't say that last night when he was drinking Fresco. Trust me, they're all great and everything. All right, but let's just say that's true for the purpose of the podcast. Go ahead. So yeah, so they're nice people and they try. All right. So then you worked. The point of the matter is, here's COVID is. And this happens to be true to us, corporate franchise, me. With COVID, we put our foot on the gas, not the brake. We saw opportunity and leveraged opportunity to our advantage. And that's what you saw. You saw an opportunity and you went on it. Right.
You had to take it and run. And that was the only time, because you don't know when that opportunity will come again. It could come in maybe 2 to 5 years or now. So it was either now or never. And I took it and I ran.
And that's why we're in business together, because you have that type of personality, and that's why we want to work with you and Perrin, because you both understand what's happening and what we need from each other. So you work 100% for us, and we work 100% for you, and that's the way we feel about it. But the fact that you are in the construction field compared to our other franchisees, I do think you speak that language. There is a whole language of, they're not always 4-letter words. You use 5 and 6-letter words, but you really do, and it's a very frustrating I know for a fact, for the franchisees that don't understand commercial build out. It's extremely frustrating dealing with inspectors and fire marshals, and you explained to me it's kind of just baked into the cake. That's part of your business.
Of course, it's when you're in the construction, it's like any other business. If you're in the restaurant business, the dining room, the kitchen, everything, the ins and out of that business. So to me, construction was my main source. So I knew like what they'll ask me, what they're expecting of me, and all that stuff. But when I feel like when building inspectors and other people, when they see the person in front of them, which is in any business also, the person in front of them doesn't understand what they're talking about, they take it and they run with it.
Take advantage.
So, absolutely. They'll take advantage of it at any point, and that's the main model of my business, that you never do that. Like when someone's buying a house from me, I always give them the ins and outs of the business and the ins and outs of the house.
Right.
So that's the difference. I think that's the main problem that with the build out, is that these franchisees walk in thinking it's going to be a piece of cake and they put too much trust in their contractor, but you can't blame them, because they're trusting you with something they can't wait to open. Right. So it's an anxiety for them, and like they're very anxious to open.
It's a tough thing to navigate through. So I was talking to Perrin though, but here's the thing that I see universally: Perrin and I are not like confrontational people, right? So, but it just seems to me, from what I've seen, and not just from you, from every contractor, architect, it seems there's like if you're not in each other's face and kind of confrontational, nothing gets done. Tell me if that's true.
Well, in the construction business, it's cutthroat. You're fighting for the survival of the fittest. So you gotta make sure they all know that you understand. So if you're going up to the architect and he wants to put beams on a 24 length wall, and you don't put the right wood, it's gonna come on to you as a contractor. So and when you go talk to like the building department, they could tell you, you gotta put an outlet here when you really don't need it. Right. So you always got to attack them, so they know that you know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. Right. So that's the nature of the business.
Right. It's the nature of the business, but it's not subtle. That's all I'm saying. Like some businesses, you sit that back and you talk nice back and forth, and you frame things in a certain way. Yeah. But this is kind of direct, in your face, and that's the way it is. So you're the alpha dog. You got to make sure if you're not the alpha dog, somebody's going to step. They're going to take advantage of it.
And they'll take you. They'll cost you a lot of money.
Right, and that is very interesting. And as I said, I think most people don't recognize that it's a whole different world, a whole different language. And you're right, franchise. So I think you had a little benefit to that of being able to interpret and know when people are BSing you, and you know where the average person.
Like playing poker, you know who's bluffing.
Exactly.
And once you catch someone bluff, and it's over.
Right. So that was very interesting. So you guys are opening in Hillsdale. We're hoping a couple of weeks, maybe the end of October. Where's the location?
The location's on 550 Paramount Avenue. It's right in the heart of Hillsdale, by the train station, by downtown. So it's in a good location. We got parking. We got 5 playrooms. We have enough space. We have an outdoor space in the back, another 1,000 square feet. That it's more than enough for the dogs to go out to play in the summer and in the springtime. So we're prestigiously in a very good area, and we're very excited to open soon. I'm looking to open tomorrow.
Right, you were looking to open yesterday, but you had to come to training at least.
Yeah.
But right, and I love the passion. So they will be opening. It's not going to be tomorrow for sure. But if you live in that area, the Bergen County area near Hillsdale, just Google Houndstown USA. So just so the folks watching or listening. What you should know is that when they open, we're going to do their opening, and it's going to be we're going to talk about some marketing in a minute. But when they open, they're going to offer new customers a week of free daycare. So this way, there's no head scratching. If you're already going to a pet care facility, you're leaving your dog there all day, if you're happy with them or unhappy with them, take advantage of the free week of daycare. There's no strings attached. So you're going to come there, and they're going to say, for the next 7 days, bring your dog as often as you want. And you're going to be, well, do I have to? I mean, they might not be happy that I'm giving this front. I hear they're looking at each other over here. They might not be happy about this free week offer. But the why we do this and why we at Houndstown, we feel so confident that we're going to give you this week. And if you come once, twice, 3, 4, or 5 times, we are so confident in what we do and how we price our services that you're going to come back for more and more and more. So that's the whole idea. It's not going to be a trick. It's not going to be, you got to give us a credit card payment and sign, nothing. Free week of daycare. Okay.
Hold on, I just want to add to when you're talking about the location. It used to be an old doggy daycare, which is called the Barclay. So if you live in that area, you know where it was. That's
right
where we are.
That's where we are.
So it's called the Barclay what?
It used to be called the Barclay.
Yeah.
Barclay.
So if they know where that location is, that's where we're located now.
So, so it was the Barclay, now it's Houndstown. There's not going to be any resemblance to Barclay, and they might have done a great job. I have no clue. But that's where the facility is. If you went to the Barclay and you didn't have a good time, you didn't enjoy the experience, take them up. How can you go wrong? The price is right. It's free. It's free. So then you can judge. After a week, you say, I'll go back to wherever. But that's how confident we are. So it was at the Barclay. So how do we get... Here's the thing that you guys don't even know, and I just learned this at the last podcast we did. And you weren't listening, but you will when it airs. So this might be creating a whole big problem. But you guys have a target on your back. I don't know. Oh, you heard. Okay. All right. So here's the problem. I don't know. As the franchisor, I don't know if I'm throwing like red meat to a pack of dogs here.
Well, any target that wants to come at us, they can come at us. We'll take them.
Oh, boy. All right. This is it. So, oh, boy, the challenge is accepted. My heart's beating here. So here's the thing. This is like WWF. Is that the thing? WWE, Worldwide Wrestling Federation. So here it is, folks. The king and queen of doggy daycare, Jessica and Jamie from Henderson, Nevada, has called these two fellas out. And there's going to be a SmackDown. There is going to be a Houndstown SmackDown live. And what we're competing for, they called these two wonderful fellas their nemesis. Their nemesis. But what they really are is their friendly competitors. So here it is. The reason you're their nemesis, explain why that they're after you guys.
Well, like he always says, everyone's got to have a nemesis.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to compete with us with the Facebook group.
Right.
So, obviously, the Facebook group is very important to interact with the clients of Houndstown, potential clients and stuff like that, and they can see how their dog is interacting. So, apparently, we're ahead of them in members, but so they're trying to get up to us. Right. But they won't.
Okay, so, no. We're going to fit you guys with tights and a cape for our next appearance. But let me ask you, so on the serious note, so yeah, we always have friendly competition inside. It's fun.
Yeah,
right?
but Jamie and Jessica, that's not a competition. Coming out of Henderson and competing against the dynamic duo right now.
I kind of think that, but I can't take bets. I'm just the host. I can't get involved here because I've been wrong many times. I have my nemesis. My nemesis happens to be in Sanford, Florida. It's a four-legged dog named Shadow that jumps over every goddamn fence he sees. So you talk about a nemesis. Shadow's my nemesis, and I'm coming for you. I'm creating a containment device that your ass is not going to get out of, and that's my nemesis. So I guess you're right. We all have our nemesis. But what I want to talk about before Cooper cuts us off here, talk about the Facebook page and talk about the marketing, because this is different, and this is an area I frankly don't know anything about. I don't know about Instagram. I know telegrams, not Instagram. I don't know Facebook. I literally don't know it. I'm not on it. I think it's kind of, for me personally, it's toxic, and it's really, but for business, tell me about Facebook and why you got this target on your back.
No, absolutely. Social media is very important, especially nowadays, because everyone's on their phones or tablets and everything else that you can get onto social media. And especially for us, and obviously Henderson and all the other places that aren't open yet, this is a good way to communicate with potential clients of our Houndstown. So we can interact with them, get to know their dogs, post pictures, interact by posting pictures of our dogs, their dogs, and everyone else's dogs. So you get to meet everyone and build a rapport with them before you even open your door.
Right, and that's what's most fascinating to me, because frankly, I didn't even know this goes on behind the scenes. I really don't. So do you know how many people you got in your Facebook group, or not really? Well, or maybe we shouldn't say. You want to keep that to talk to your lawyer about, your manager, but you don't want to reveal. You must have a lot, or you wouldn't be somebody's nemesis. All right, so this is any 500 of anything would be amazing. So not that they're all customers, but they're people that are following you, that are interested in what we have to say as a family, not just sending coupons or sending discounts like I get from all of these. You're interacting with them.
And like the lady that, brand ambassador, that's the word I was looking for, that came in earlier today talking about how she invited people into the group and they weren't necessarily having dogs, but they enjoyed the content.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a dog to be in the group.
Part of our family, our culture.
If you like dogs, join the group. You'll be able to see
and it's fun.
All these pictures of dogs every day.
And we do fun stuff. Like we're not like putting serious content, and we want to have fun, and that's the experience we want to have for our dogs. So Houndstown, because I know we got to get moving here. Houndstown is a place where dogs can come to be dogs, and people don't understand what does that exactly means. Even our franchisees in the training program that we're having here, I was like, what does that mean? What are we going to do for the dogs? Dogs interact with one another. They're social pack animals. All they need is the natural pack. So you can take your family pet that's sitting around on the couch, barking out the window and just so frustrated. You can bring them a Houndstown and they get released into a pack of other dogs, their temperament, size, age, and temperament. And you cannot duplicate that experience at home unless you have 10 or 15 dogs to provide for your dog to play with. So it's the psychological and social benefit of Houndstown. And if you have questions about it, just go to houndstownusa.com and look at the different locations and see the benefits. How do they get onto your Facebook page? How do you even do that? I don't even.
So we made it a little bit easier to search. So you can do facebook.com/houndstownhillsdale. And then it's the same thing with the group, but I think it's facebook.com/groups/houndstownhillsdale. And you can find it. If you can't find it that way, just go on the Facebook page and there's a link to it. There's many ways to get there.
All right, so that's interesting. And that's really the most easy way to educate. I can go on and tell you about the benefits of Houndstown and doggy daycare, what makes us different. But the best thing is to experience a free day, or in this case, a week, when they open at the end of the month. Go to a location. If you're listening down in Florida, Joan and Tom Sullivan, just Google Houndstown. Go to a Houndstown location near you. Tell them the mayor sent you, and they'll give you your first free day anywhere, any Houndstown, for new customers, their first free day, so they can take advantage of. This was really exciting. Follow this SmackDown, because next this is getting ugly here. I don't know. It's not even
going to be a good match. We're going to be killing.
Better be careful though. Vegas, remember Tupac down in Vegas, Las Vegas Boulevard. I don't want violence. No violence. Go ahead.
We're going to challenge all Houndstowns.
Okay, here it is. Wherever you are, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Philly. They're coming after you. West Coast is coming. Oh, boy. Join us next week if we're still around. I don't know. We'll try to follow up and see where this all ends up. Houndstown USA, The Dish on Dogs, Monday nights at 8 p.m. Ciao, everybody. Instagram, Facebook, all of these wonderful things. We're a pod visit wherever you get podcasts. That's where you get the Dish on Dogs. Good night, everyone.